Hello and welcome to Ukraine Today. I'm Vladimir Solhub. Join me now in our studio to discuss the Dutch business in Ukraine is the co-owner and co-founder of freight audit and transport management solutions company, Mr. Peter Kins. Mr. Kins, welcome to Ukraine Today.
Thank you.
Mr. Kins, you started your company almost 12 years ago. Can you tell us what motivated you to come to Ukraine and start up a business?
Well, I had experience in Ukraine before. I knew the country, and I knew there were opportunities for our business and for IT development in Ukraine. So we decided to have our system, our own platform, to be developed in Ukraine, in Kiev.
Well, if you were in the country before and you knew the nature of the business in Ukraine, you also knew that there was unfortunately a lot of corruption, especially for the business and for the foreign businesses. This was a very difficult moment to tackle with. So how did you deal with that?
To be honest, we didn't see so much corruption. We focused really on the business, and we worked with people, with companies. And we found out that if you really do your own thing, corruption maybe is around, but can be overcome and becomes actually quite limited. And we have not really experienced much difficulties because of that.
So when you started the business here in Ukraine, what were the main challenges which you had to face?
I would say it is bringing the right set of people together. It really comes down to people and finding a balance in having a Western culture in your company and to have the right local culture and to find the right mix, which makes for a very interesting atmosphere in the company. You don't want to have a completely local view on your own business when you are a foreign business, but you want to have a international atmosphere in the company. So that can be a challenge in the beginning.
Mr. Kins, can you tell a little bit about your business? How big is your company and how do you operate?
So in total we have around 150 people in our company, of which 140 are located here in Kiev. And what we do is that we control and audit freight invoices, freight costs for large multinationals. And we have set up our own system for that here in Ukraine. So we have an IT department, customer service department, and an audit department that takes care of the day-to-day processes in our company.
So apart from facing the challenges of finding the right people, by the way, how difficult was to find the right people for your company? Because, well, 12 years ago, there were quite a few multinationals, but it was still like early 2000s. The people were still, it was difficult to find a highly qualified workforce on the market.
Yes, and so we have done quite some in-house training. But what you're really looking for is people that are motivated and that want to work and that want to succeed. So typically you end up with young people. Many people in our office come from the regions. But people have a strong willingness to succeed and are also willing to learn and to learn in their own time in order to make their knowledge larger and to expand in the company.
So what is your secret or your recipe for motivating the young talent apart from financial benefits?
I think it's a whole package. I think you want to create first of all, a very positive atmosphere in the company. You want to create a comfortable atmosphere so that people feel that they are rewarded for what they do, but also in day-to-day life there's just a pleasant atmosphere, pleasant colleagues, and that things are organized in the company. I think the Western atmosphere plays a role. People have the opportunity to travel abroad, so there's exposure from different angles. So it's not only money, it's also looking at potential other benefits, like travel, for example.
If you compare the people, your employees who work in your company, well, Ukrainians, and the people in the Netherlands, what are the qualities that Ukrainians have which differ them from a workforce in other countries?
I think Ukrainian people are very analytical. They are very motivated, strong willingness to learn and to grow. Basically, you see a younger workforce in general, average age, than you would see in the Netherlands. But that creates a very interesting atmosphere. So in the Netherlands, you would have more specialists in a certain area. Here, people would be maybe more generalistic. But at the same time, the atmosphere is very different because of the age difference. But analytical skills are very strong here, mathematical skills as well.
Did you find that to your advantage, that Ukrainian employees were more generally specialized as opposed to narrowly specialized?
Yes, because we employ a lot of linguists. So we were able to receive people that have good language skills. I would say that Ukraine has very good language educational programs. And apart from that, we are able to train them in logistics and other areas where they maybe lack the skills, but have enough ambition and willingness to learn and to grow. So that was very beneficial.
Mr. Kins, can we talk a little bit about the political climate? Your business has weathered at least 2 revolutions in Ukraine in 2004, where you probably have just started your business or were about to begin, and then in 2013, 2014. Well, first of all, did these political turmoils affect your business, and if so, in what way?
It did not affect our business. I remember the revolution of 2004. A part of our office was completely orange because many people were taking orange stickers and flags with them. There was a very enthusiastic vibe. People wanted to see change, wanted to take actively participation in that. And to a certain extent, we have seen it also now. I would say what happened 2 years ago is is way worse, of course, than the first revolution. But it didn't affect our business. But we did take a lot of measures to ensure that we could continue our business if things would have turned worse.
What were these measures?
To make sure that we can evacuate our people, because we need to ensure that we can continue our business processes. They are quite critical, so that we could evacuate our people to the Netherlands or to Poland. So we have supplied them with visas for the Netherlands. So in case they could not stay in Ukraine to work, we could get them over to the Netherlands.
So basically, you had a plan put in place which would allow your business to relocate very quickly.
Yes.
How close you were to this plan?
I would say not close, because internet would be turned off and things would have been really bad if that would happen. But our customers, they do require from us a specific approach to their business processes.
And when this finally did not happen, you saw, we're talking about the political turmoil in 2014, the Euromaidan revolution, when you saw that actually things are not as sour as they seemed to be in the beginning, how relieved you were?
I was not really relieved because I know Ukraine very well. Our management knows Ukraine very well, so we know that things have happened in the past and things can happen, and we're more sad because of what happened. And I personally never thought that we would need to evacuate our people and that things would get worse than they already were. But in general, it's a very sad situation what happened, of course.
A lot of businesses were concerned about openly supporting the protesters, about allowing their employees to go on the streets and demonstrate, because obviously nobody knew how the events would turn, which way. How did you feel about that? I think that if people want to demonstrate, it is up to them to decide that. And we don't have an official policy on that. And I think the things that have happened are very strong to many Ukrainians. So. But you saw that in the country where you were operating, the government did not want that people go out and demonstrate.
Yes, but it has nothing to do with us. So we still have our own opinion, and personally I believe that if people want to go to the streets for a case they feel very strong about, they should do it.
One of the reasons why the people went out on the streets in the November of 2013 was, of course, non-signing by President Yanukovych of the EU association agreement, but also in general because people were fed up with the massive corruption, with very systemic corruption. They wanted changes, and it wasn't just the people. The businesses were also severely affected by this corruption. So going back to the question about corruption, which you try to avoid in the first place, how did it affect your business? Because, of course, in some cases, the businesses do this voluntarily and they pay bribes in order to get certain services from the government. But there are cases when the government creates the condition for the business that there is no other way than just to give a payoff.
Well, I'm not avoiding the question, but the fact is that we operate a bit different than other companies, that we don't work directly with Ukrainian companies or with Ukrainian producers or suppliers, for that matter. We really work for foreign customers. So foreign customers, big multinationals, they trust us with their business processes in Ukraine, and I think that's a very big given, and we feel comfortable in Ukraine because we did not experience corruption ourselves. But that maybe has to do with the nature of our business. Generally, of course, we know there's a lot of corruption around, and there has been a lot of corruption around, but it has not really affected us.
Now that the association agreement has been signed and some of the provisions of the association agreement have come into effect from January 1st, 2016, do you expect the increase of your business? Because as you said, you're working with foreign companies, so there'll be more logistics, more movements, more businesses will be coming, foreign businesses, European businesses will be coming to Ukraine. So for your business, is this a positive development?
Yes, absolutely. Like I say, as we are working with multinationals, for them it's very important to understand where their suppliers are operating, within which legal framework. And obviously within the European legal framework, if Ukraine takes part in that, it will really benefit us, because people will see our place of working here in Kiev as a more stable, secure place. So it will give us more business, and in general, I think it will give Ukraine a lot more, let's say, credibility as a partner where people can actually locate their business in a safe way. In
April, the Netherlands is about to host a referendum where the people will vote whether the Dutch citizens want the government of the Netherlands to ratify the association agreement. Even though this referendum has an advisory nature, this still will be an important signal for the government how the Dutch people feel about this association agreement with Ukraine. What do you think about this referendum?
Well, I think it's a necessary referendum. I don't think it's contributing to a positive atmosphere about Ukraine. I think the people that have created the referendum, have organized it, they have used the power of social media to get where they are at this moment. Most people in the Netherlands, they don't know Ukraine so well, and they make advantage of that. And they spread lies and misinformation on Ukraine just to get support to say no to Ukraine taking part in this treaty.
So will you be taking part in this referendum? Will you be voting?
Yes, because we have this referendum now, there is a choice. So I will definitely vote yes.
How will you vote?
Definitely yes.
Would you agree that following the tragic events with the MH17, there is a lot of negative information in the Netherlands associated with Ukraine, and this most likely will impact significantly the voting by the people in the Netherlands?
I'm not sure, because I think many people in the Netherlands do realize that this situation has been created by Russia in Ukraine, and I don't think that it contributes to choosing on the referendum. It's more what is being said right now, which is really wrong, which influences the opinion.
Do you think that following the referendum, your business will continue to operate as previously, that this will somehow influence your business?
I don't think so. I think the referendum is more a difficulty for the Dutch politicians if there is a negative outcome than that it is for business, as it seems that the referendum is, or the association is going ahead nevertheless.
Well, we'll be following really closely the developments in this matter and see how this referendum affects the Dutch businesses in Ukraine. Mr. Kins, many thanks for joining us today. We were talking to the owner and co-founder of Freight Audit and Transport Management Solutions company, Mr. Peter Kins. We're discussing the challenges and the opportunities for the Dutch business in Ukraine. I'm Vladimir Solhoub. Thank you for watching Ukraine Today.